Hi, I'm Hypnotoad and welcome to the second part of this video tutorial for UnitCapture UnitPlay. In this video we're going to be going back to our original mission and adding a couple more things. In this case, the firing of helicopter weapons in the UnitPlay UnitCapture. So we're going to add to our original mission that we made with a helicopter landing on the roof with an attack run by a second helicopter, another little bird with the FFARs and miniguns, and we're going to show you how to work that into a mission as well. So add a couple more things and you'll see how it'll play out with the AI flying the chopper and disembarking from the transport. So if we just go single player editor and we open up the mission, if you've not got this, go back to the first tutorial and just create whatever mission and whatever map you're wanting. In this case I'm using Proving Grounds because it's pretty small. Anyway, if I open up landing, you can see we've got our original heli. That flies out the pre-programmed path, lands on this house, and flies away again, dropping off one guy. We can increase the number of guys, but we'll do that in a later mission. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to create our second helicopter. So we're going to place it in front of our other one. Blue 4 again, faction US, make sure it's an air vehicle, make it the player. Make it an AH-64J, that's the little bird with the miniguns. You could use something heavier, but might as well stick with what we've got. Special, make it sure it's flying, and in the name, the original helicopter was Heli 1, so we'll call this one Heli 2. Pretty simple. Okay, if you OK that, you'll want to press F2 and ungroup it, so it doesn't try and stay in formation with the other helicopter. The formation will obviously be dictated by your flying. It might have been easier to record the attack run first and have the helicopter follow you in, but I'm doing it the other way around. So what we want to do now is just pre-set up our triggers before we go edit the script a bit. So if we get the trigger and we copy paste both of our triggers, so you should have the alpha and an alpha, a bravo and a bravo, but what we want to do is we want to go into our copied triggers and change them. So we want this one to be radio Charlie, so we'll record the second helicopter with a different command. So we need to edit our activation, which is rec equals, and we want this to be heli 2, so change that. Then the time recorded, keep that as 200 seconds. Then we want to add a couple more things in, so we want to add 20. That represents the frames per second that it actually records the video at. Well, the positions, so it'll be recording like 20 iterations per frame. 20 is a good number. I tried 30, but it got a bit laggy when I had 4 plus helicopters, so I'm going to stick with 20 for the moment. It's perfectly acceptable in single player. Might have to work around the frames with the multiplayer. Okay, so we also want to put another comment in and type in true. That true statement means that it will record the firing when doing the unit capture, which is obviously essential for the attack helicopter. Okay, so just OK that. And for the last trigger, we want to set it as radio delta. You can have them both activate off the same radio trigger. I'll be doing that later in the mission, but in this case for testing we kind of want it on a separate trigger so they don't collide with each other. And we want to put rec equals spawn mypath2, because we're going to create another script which is pretty much the same as mypath but called 2 in this case for the attack helicopter. Right, so now we're going to alt tab and set up our scripts before we record the flight path. Okay, now we need to set up our scripts. As before, go into my documents, ArmA 2, missions, and then you should have your landing mission. And you can still see you've got the init, the mission, and the path file. Okay, the first thing we need to do is need to edit our init file to load the second path file. Okay, so what you want to do, open on the wrong screen, is you can see you got my path compile preprocess path SQF. Now what you can do is you can literally just copy paste that down onto the next line and put mypath2 equals compile preprocessFile path2.sqf. All we're really going to do is create a second file that contains the attack chopper code. So, and it'll be referenced in the editor as mypath2 as we've already saved. So just save that file and close it. Then we need to create our second path file. It's easier if you do this one from scratch rather than copying the path data because of the mass wall of text that's in it. So if we create a new text document, boot it up. Now we need to record our path data. So in this case, it's going to be called path2, as opposed to just path in our original one. Put an equals and a semicolon. Okay. Then we need to also have a place to store our firing data, which comes out as a separate thing. So if you type fire2 equals semicolon, we can put that between the equals and the semicolon. Okay, next we need to put in our path script play icon. So when we activate this script, it'll play the both the path script and the firing script. So in this case, we want to go heli2 because we're using the second helicopter. We want it to play path2. Okay, and we want it to spawn, which is to activate the command, well, the function that is bis underscore fnc underscore UnitPlay. Note the capitals again. Okay, then we need to play back our firing data, which is pretty much the same thing. So bracket heli2 fire2 close bracket spawn bis underscore fnc underscore UnitPlay fire. Okay, so remember the fire on the end. Now that's all we need to do to set up our scripts. Remember that when you go save as, call it path2.sqf. Okay, so just save that. Now you've got that, and you can see you've got your new path2 file. Just delete that text document. So that's all ready to go and be played in the mission. So all we need to do now is go in the mission, record our flight path and our firing, and paste it into these scripts. So let's go do that. Okay, all we need to do now is record our attack run. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my heli almost perpendicular to my old heli. I'm going to try and follow its movements through the mission. So to do this, I'm going to hit preview, start up. Remember to press 003 to set Charlie going, which is our recording, and then 002 to get our other helicopter moving. Now, you can see in the top right it's saying start and capture, including weapon fire data. So in this case, we're going to be flying a little bird with rockets, and we're going to bombard the petrol station. You can see I've got the other chopper close in, and it looks like I'm giving him the overwatch. Then barrage the petrol station. Brake. Switch to miniguns. Pull up. Hopefully do a 180 if I can. Strafe the hell out of the road. Maybe have a truck or something on that corner there. Then provide just a little bit of air cover for the dropping off guy. Then when he's done dropping off, follow him out. Now obviously if you're a far more skilled pilot than myself, you could follow it out a bit more accurately. Obviously do your own custom strafing runs. But the idea is to try and get a pretty much realistic following, try and give the guys in the mission just a sense that they are being watched over. Now I've got to try and land, and I'll watch my other chopper break itself. And what I try and do is put down and turn my engine off so the guys in the mission don't hear me revving up like crazy. Now, here's the important bit. What you need to do is press escape, then escape again. Now, this is very important. Press F1 to copy the movement data. Then you need to Alt-Tab and paste it into your notepad, like so. So once you've Alt-Tabbed, open up your path document, and what you need to do is copy the path data into your path thing between the equals and the semicolon. Creates massive wall of text, all good fun. Then go back into the game to grab the fire data. Once back in the game, what you need to do is press F2 and it'll say unit weapon fire data copied. You then need to Alt-Tab again and paste it into the unit fire area. Okay, once you're out of the game, what you need to do is paste your fire data in between the equals and the semicolon in fire 2. So just paste that in. You can see you've got the weapon names and the times in there. Now I have made a mistake, and you need to change where it's the fire 2 script, it should say UnitPlay firing, not fire. Okay, so that's firing. Okay, once you've done that, we just need to go back in and test it. Okay, now we just need to test it. So make sure that you double click on the marksman, make sure he's the player. Select OK. So these should be controlled by the AI now. And what you want to do is just to test that they don't intercept each other and hit each other. Just quickly change your radio trigger for Delta to Bravo. What you could do is copy the on-act text in after the radio Bravo trigger, but what I want to do is I want to keep them separate in case I have to bug test later, because these triggers may get more and more complex and do different things for each chopper. So it's always best to try and keep them separate, but just trigger them together to make sure the choppers don't hit each other. Okay, so if you just go preview, hit 0, 0, 2, and hopefully the choppers are reset. You should be able to see my other chopper. There he is, following me in. And it's basically, you've got to give it a couple of run-throughs just to check that they don't hit each other. You can change this by offsetting the time or just re-recording. What you could do is set it so the UnitCapture Charlie for the second helicopter also activates the playback of the first shot. As you can see there, he's just shot the petrol station. It's going back around, so it's obviously worked at this point. And if you set it up correctly, just check. Straight to the crossroads there. So that's basically all you need to know about this useful function in Operation Arrowhead. I'm going to carry on this video just for a little bit, show you a couple of things to make it into a complete mission. So you can see they're flying off. On bigger maps like Takistan and stuff, you could have the choppers get a lot further away before they try and put down, try and maintain the realism. But what we're going to do now is just add some enemies to the mission, a couple of things, and actually try and make it so it functions. Alright. Contrary to what I just said when I was recording the video, I'm not going to be going into any more detail. I'm just going to leave it at this point. But what I am going to do is I'm going to finish the mission in my own time. Probably either do a video of the mission or upload it somewhere and link it in the description. With that, you can obviously play through yourself just to see what I've done with the adding in some enemies, doing a bit more of the complex coding. Or you can un-PBO it yourself, depackage it, have a look through the files and the scripts, and just obviously learn from what I've written in there if you want to actually have a hands-on look. Obviously for JavaScript itself, we're going to be doing a couple more videos. You can see I've been pumping these out almost daily. We're going to be recording quite a lot more stuff. Obviously get our output up, so if you want to see something, obviously put it in the comments. I know I've been declining Minecraft a bit, so I'm going to be doing a bit